So in today's video, we're going to do something I've been putting off for way too long. I often get asked about this particular panel or trellis system that I have here by viewers that see it in our gardening videos. If you plant corn in raised bed gardens, due to the loose soil, there's not a good root structure there. Now, corn grows exceptionally well. I've got a tremendous amount of plants in this, so I love doing it this way, but they tend to blow over. The first year that I did corn in raised beds, I said I'd probably never do it again because every storm that come by, my corn would be laid over and I lost a lot of it. So what I decided to do in order to keep my corn plant standing up, I drove down some T-posts at all corners of my bed and went and bought some of these cattle panels, or hog panels as they're often referred to, from Tractor Supply. And I suspended them about 18 inches off the ground, and you can see my corn is coming up quick. So what I could do is come out here maybe by next week when the corn is pressed up against this, and I'll feed it through. And what this does, as the corn grows up and the thunderstorms come and the high winds and it blows the corn around, instead of the corn being able to blow all the way over to the ground, well, it kind of just gets supported by these cattle panels. You can see I plant my rows underneath all these squares. It works out really well. So this is the best way I have found to grow corn in raised beds. Now you could run strings and do other things to support your corn, but this works beautiful. Now it does have one small issue with it being down low like this and permanently wired to the post. Well, it's aggravating getting underneath the weed or to pull rows and plant your corn, so you kind of have to feed through everything. Not to mention when your corn gets up this high, it still gets good support from this, but I wish this was a little higher to support the corn as it grows. So that's what we're going to do in today's episode. Let's make some slide over the T-post hooks here that we can tighten down and raise and lower this panel so it can move as our corn grows. So we decided to plant even more corn this year in another bed. We're going to put a few more T-posts down, build some of those sleeves that go up and down that have hooks to hold our cattle panel. I just went and bought another one. We're about to trim it to length, and we're going to make another raise and lower corn support here. Okay, so before we go off and make a bunch of these for all the T-posts, let's test our proof of concept so we don't waste a bunch of time here. I have picked up some 1.5-inch square tubing. Well, this is some old scrap stuff actually, and it fits perfectly over a T-post. My thought process is to be able to weld a nut to it and pinch this to the T-post with a 3/8 bolt. I thought about welding a handle onto them, but I am concerned about these letting loose, potentially not getting enough torque by hand. So I think I'm going to use an impact on these because I'm only going to move them a couple of times throughout the planting season. All right, so now what we've got to do is go slide this over the T-post, figure out where we want to put the nut and bolt through, and then we're also going to weld off a piece of rebar on here. So this is just a slide with the rebar going to go at a 45-degree angle. So it's basically just a hook sitting out there for the wire to lay right into. It should work out well and give me plenty of adjustment. All right, so this is very, very tight because as you can see, these are flared out where I pounded them in. So I may have to cut the top off or grind them. But once you get down, it slides very, very well. All right, so it looks like if I drilled a hole, welded a nut, and did a long enough bolt that pinches into there, and did a hook off of this other side, say about this long. Yeah, that's gonna work. And make sure to work on all of these. So even if I were to have the bolt over here and the hook over there, it still works, no problem. right, I think that's gonna work. All right, well this worked very, very well. I'm gonna have to trim a couple posts up that are flattened out on the top, and I've already been out there doing that. This particular design is gonna work on every single post, no matter what angle I have. I can kind of move it around to hook some part of my trellis. So now it's time to kick it and fast forward because I have to make 15 of these really quickly. Let's go. Okay, so now that we have our adjustable brackets on, I do need to shoot a coat of paint on them. Just loosen the bolt, raise these up or down with the corn that grows. And I've got them low for now, so I'll come out and start slowly feeding the corn through. And now what we'll do is we'll let the corn grow, you know, say a foot above this. Then we'll come out, maybe raise it up 6 inches, and eventually we'll probably only raise it one more time after that to about here. We want to keep it down in the lower third of the corn so the ears that are developing are not rubbing against this, causing any damage. And the corn is now getting supported higher than I've ever been able to before, because for the first time ever, I have quick adjust brackets to go up and down. I think this is going to work out really, really well, and it's going to protect my corn this year. And this corn grows so fast, I'll have to come out here for the next several days and slowly feed it through, or either I'll have to just lift this up. But I want to go ahead and start getting it growing through. Now if we come over here to this one, you can see kind of the same setup. I could probably wait another day or two before feeding everything through, and that's probably what I'll do. You just don't want to wait too long to where you're having to bend, potentially break the corn to get it to come up and through here. All right, so now our raisable corn support is done. This is the best way, in my opinion, to grow corn in a raised bed garden. And I'll never go back to in the ground. Now you can get a better root structure, you can hill the corn better, and it is better supported in the ground, but I've had it blow over many, many times doing a traditional garden. Now you could also, again, run a bunch of strings, but that takes time. This panel was $30 today from Tractor Supply. The bolts were a few dollars, also from Tractor Supply. The little bit of metal I already had laying around the shop, and it was $9 for the rebar. So now I get a corn support for life. I mean, it's going to take this a long time to rust out. Now keep in mind, if you just want to buy the $30 panel, You already got some posts laying around like me. Maybe you don't have a welder. You don't have to make these. You could actually zip tie the panels up with heavy duty zip ties or wire them like I did, which is extremely affordable and cheap. And if you're gonna leave it permanent, I suggest do like my other one was, about 18 inches above the ground. You're gonna have to constantly watch the corn and get it through. But once it's fed through and continues to grow, 18 inches is about the minimum height that I like to support corn blowing in the wind. Now I'm gonna be able to get up to say 24 or 30 inches, which is kind of where I wanna be. So even when those super strong afternoon thunderstorms come blowing through, my corn's gonna be here to stay. All right, that was a fun little build, something I've been putting off for a couple of years and needed to make happen. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the next one.